like to call our meeting to order, and we welcome all of you. I know that it's a lot of exciting things going on with graduation coming up and only 28 more days of school, and we're glad that you're here. We're glad you're interested in our students, and we as a board certainly prayerfully hope to do what's right for all students. We're going to have an invocation from Matt Hogan.
Yeah, thank you, Chairwoman Hammond. In lieu of an invocation, I'd like for us to take a brief moment just for self-reflection with a moment of silence. Thank you. Now, if we'd please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Hogan. We, in thinking about students that need to go home and study or at least get their sleep, and parents and the staff that has to stay so long, but we never want to cut out the public's opportunity to speak, and especially on controversial issues. It's important that we hear from the public. And I wanted to read our regular policy and then a few other comments for tonight. The board welcomes and encourages public participation. We respectfully ask that you adhere to the procedures and the decorum provided in Board Policy BEDH, public participation at meetings. Your comments should be limited to 3 minutes. Questions asked during the public participation will be handled in accordance with Board Policy BEDH. Tonight, we wanted to share some information we vetted through the South Carolina School Boards Association regarding meetings. We know some of the issues we will cover tonight prompt impassioned responses from people on both sides. But our goal is to uphold the order of tonight's meeting and take actions that positively impact the students and staff of this district. Verbal outbursts, personal attacks of any staff or board members, or any other disruptive behavior will not be tolerated at our meeting. We should all be respectful. While we respect the right of members of the public to voice their opinions and provide us with feedback, we must uphold the order of this meeting and be protective of one another. Let's start with our students. We put them first because I think that's very important. We are going to hear from Mr. James Valek. Can we go get him? Or should I go to another one till we get him? Would that be, is that all right for sake of, is that fair? Is he right there?
He's a kid.
That's
Second grader.
If he's nearby. Mm-hmm. Because 8 and 70 is 40. 40. Mm-hmm. All right. Are any of the students there all outside? Because the next one's Ada, right? No, ma'am. Is Ada here? I'll come back to them. Brenna and Drew Zingmark, are they here? Welcome. Okay.
Thank you. I would first like to start by saying I'm an 8th grader at Chapin Middle School. And on behalf of my fellow students and friends, I'm here to say that I believed the school board when you voted to take away the mask mandate. And at school, I am not able to take off my mask for the whole day, 7 hours, unless I'm eating or drinking, not even while I'm at my seat. And today, the day that was supposed to be where the mask mandate was removed, I chose not to wear my mask. I was sent to the principal's office, and the principal gave me 3 options. Go back to class and be forced to wear a mask. Sit in the detention room isolated for the whole day, or go home. so I got kicked out of school. I am asking the board to please vote to remove masks. We should have a choice and not be forced. Thank you.
Thank you. Did Ada Wright come in, or, okay, because we're gonna read 5 at a time. Okay, is that Jason Valek? Oh, James Valek, excuse me. Hello, Mr. Valek.
Got it?
Hi, I'm Jax Fallick. I'm a second grader at Lake Murray Elementary, and I'm talking about the mask. It's hard to breathe in them and hard to hear people say stuff. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is what matters, Jack. Right here. This is what matters.
Ada Wright.
Hi, I'm Ada Wright. Something I simply don't understand is why I have to wear a mask. Why do I have to wear a mask for other people's reassurance? Why do I have to wear a mask when people have been offered to get a vaccine? If it makes you feel safe to wear a mask, then go ahead, by all means, wear a mask. Personally, I do not believe it makes a difference for me, so why do I have to wear one? I think masks should be completely optional to wear at school. I'm a child of God, not the school's child. Personally, I feel that masks have only had a negative effect. In school, when I have my mask on, I get so hot, especially today when we had no air conditioning in class. Since I get so hot, then I get a headache and I just can't focus. Another negative side effect to masks is that they're just gross and you're just sitting there breathing in the same air over and over, and that can also cause maskne. Masks also restrict communication in schools. One of my teachers, I can't tell by her eyes or tone of voice when she's beginning to become upset, but I really know she's upset when she starts yelling. This past Friday, I walked into school with no mask on. I dropped off my stuff, and then I walked to another class to hang out with some friends with still no mask on. On the way back to class before the bell rang, a teacher sitting at the end of the hallway, mask patrolling, told me to put my mask on. My response to her was that I would get one from my teacher, and I kept walking to my class. Outside the classrooms, my teacher and another teacher were standing there. The first teacher started fussing at me about not having a mask on, and my teacher started questioning why I didn't have my mask on. My teacher then escorted me into the room where I could get a mask, and at this point I was very uncomfortable and intimidated, so I put the mask on. Feeling intimidated is not a safe feeling, and school is supposed to be a safe environment for students. Therefore, I believe my peers nor I should have to wear a mask at school. Mask by choice.
Thank you. Lauren Robinson. This is the last of the students, and then I'm going to call them five at a time. Okay, thank you, sweetie.
Good evening, board members and Dr. Melton. In case y'all are in need of a reminder, my name is Lakin Robinson, and I'm a junior at Irma High, and I have the privilege of being in the International Baccalaureate Diploma Program. I want to start off by mentioning that as an IB student, we are taught to uphold certain core values under our IB learner profile that prepare us to be exceptional contributors on campus and to society. We are taught to be inquirers, knowledgeable, thinkers, communicators, principled, open-minded, and caring. The 3 that really stand out to me in this list are the last 3 points, being principled, open-minded, and caring. Us high schoolers are able to uphold these standards, so why can't our own board of elected adult members do it as well? Why can't there be open-minded conversations? Why is there a lack of caring, not just for one another, but for our superintendent, our teachers, our district, our whole community? One can define a principled person as someone who acts with integrity and honesty, with a strong sense of fairness, justice, and respect for the dignity of the individual, groups, and communities. I can't be the only one asking, why aren't we seeing this? We are beyond blessed to be in this fantastic school district. We are given so many resources that we have some of the best teachers and staff that SC has to offer. Might I remind y'all that our very own Dr. Christina Melton was named the 2022 South Carolina Superintendent of the Year just a week ago, and Mrs. Amy Carter from Chapin High was named the SC Teacher of the Year. That's not something to take lightly. Our board needs to reflect this. In IB, we are taught to think of the bigger picture of things, not just how it affects us, but on a larger global scale. So I leave you with the reminder that decisions being made now will affect the integrity and reputation of Lexridge 5 for years to come. Us students are taught to look up to y'all. Don't take that lightly either. The young generations see and pick up more than you think, and we are also the next generation of voters. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. I'm going to call these five. Allie Hendricks, Marianne Sansonetti Wood, Peter Lazan, Stephanie Dukes, and John Kawamoto. Did I say that right? Hey.
Hey there.
Hey there.
My name's Allie Hendrick. I'm a social studies teacher at Dutch Fork High School, and I'm the current chair of our district's teacher forum. D5 Teacher Forum is an organization made up of current and former Teachers of the Year elected from every school in the district. We exist independently of the district and have the mission to advocate, inspire, and advocate for our profession in order that our students in this community may be the ultimate beneficiaries. I was going to get up here. She pretty much said everything. Fantastic. As a D5 teacher, there are so many things my fellow teachers and I could get up here and speak to, but I am not here to talk about one issue. I want us to celebrate what's happening in front of us. Last week, she said it, Dr. Melt was named Superintendent of the Year. It was an acknowledgement of what the majority of D5 teachers and staff already knew. Dr. Melton is an exceptional, intentional, forward-thinking, data-driven, student and staff-focused leader. She leads with the support of teachers and is truly working for the best interests of our students and staff. Congratulations, Dr. Melton. Additionally, earlier this year, Dr. Gerald Gary of Dutch Fork High School was named Secondary Principal of the Year, Mr. Big Time, and that's all I'm going to say. Still more, the outgoing and incoming South Carolina Teachers of the Year are our very own, something that has never happened in the history of D5. Congratulations, Mrs. Gams and Mrs. Carter. Let us not take this excellence for granted. Has this year brought us challenges? Absolutely. But this year has brought us tremendous opportunities. Here are some of the experiences from the teacher leaders of District 5. My 9th and 12th graders are more self-motivated, resourceful, and realize the importance of belonging to a community more than ever before. All skills that will help them be successful as they enter the real world. A kindergarten teacher shared that my students are growing as readers and writers in ways I never dreamed of, and the masks are not getting in the way of their learning or their happiness at all. We have formed a classroom community this year that may be stronger than ever before. Another forum member shared, my students liken the current public health crisis to a marathon, not a sprint. They've expressed to me we're almost there and we need to dig deep and get through this together. A first grade teacher said her students are amazing. They actually encourage each other to wear masks and make sure they're safe. Another high school teacher shared, it's easy to say this year's been rough, and it has, but I've had the privilege of seeing how much our great students care about their friends, family, and yes, us, their teachers. If that's not motivation to finish this semester strong and safely, I don't know what is. I'm here today to offer the experience and expertise of our district's teacher leaders. The relationship between stakeholders in this district should not be adversarial. We all want what is best for our kids. I have heard every single one of you say that. I know your heart is good. Forum will be reaching out to you to share our roster, a collection of teacher leaders that you can call on to talk to provide you with clear and accurate information about what is happening inside our schools. Call us, talk with us, ask for help, trust us. Look for the good and please assume the good. We have been acknowledged for just how professional our district is. Let us continue to communicate well and create space to allow the incredible professionals all around this district to work to their potential so that our kids, our students, can do the same. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Marianne Sansonetti Wood. Yeah, thank you.
Good evening. Lexington Richland School Board 5, Chairman Hammond, and Dr. Mountain. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak to you this evening. I am Marianne Sansonetti Wood, a teacher at Irma Middle School. I am a 22-year veteran in education. I am a nationally recognized teacher. I am a step parent in this district, and I am a constituent. In February of 2020, I attended the teacher fair. Dr. Melton addressed the auditorium of potential employees, and I felt as if she was speaking directly to me. She said District 5 would allow me to be the creative teacher I am. She said District 5 would treat me as the professional I am. I believed her. I still believe Dr. Melton and her staff want this for all teachers and employees. I chose District 5. I chose Irma Middle because I see the potential in the children. My experience over the last year showed me the school board does not support this vision. All stakeholders are not considered equal based on the actions by this school board. The lack of support for all parents, children, and employees from all clusters has been disappointing and disheartening. Your actions have hurt us all. I am asking you as a school board to consider all parents, children, and employees. It is your duty to protect and ensure safety for all children and employees in the district. No one should feel unsafe. No one. You must realize your actions and words have worn teachers down. Words have power, actions have consequences. One consequence for your actions in this board is that I have accepted a teaching position in another district for next year. How many more consequences will result from your actions? Thank you.
Peter Lazan.
Good evening, Board. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. On behalf of our Lexington Richland 5 Education Association, I would like you to know 96% of our members would like to have the mask mandate as it was until the end of the school year. It's pretty straightforward. Use that for what you will. There was no survey done by the school board before they took their last action. There was not 2 readings that is typically given to a school board policy to change. I'm very upset. I'm a 20-year veteran of District 5. Safety is paramount. We're not scared. We want to protect everyone. So please take that into consideration. We did not realize when the mask mandate was going to be lifted, it would be lifted so quickly and so politically. It was very disturbing. It was very underhanded. So on behalf of my organization, we wish that we could turn back time and maybe have a conversation that was needed before last week's emergency board meeting. Please reconsider your actions, and we look forward to working with you again. Thank you.
Thank you. Stephanie Dukes. Stephanie Dukes.
Good evening. I am Stephanie Dukes. I am an IB teacher at Irmo High School, and my child attends Irmo High School. Allow me to read to you the IB mission statement. We aim to develop inquiring, knowledgeable, and caring young people who help to create a better and more peaceful world through intercultural understanding and respect. International mindedness is the ability to interpret and analyze issues from different perspectives, through the lens of intercultural understanding and a respect for others. We offer a curriculum that provides opportunities for learning about issues that have personal, local, and global relevance and significance. This exploration enables learners to develop an awareness of different cultural perspectives and appreciate the commonality of the human experience. This is particularly relevant in our world today, which is entangled in conflicts based on cultural, religious, economic, and political differences. The United Nations Secretary General said, "The pandemic continues to unleash a tsunami of hate and xenophobia, scapegoating and scaremongering, and urged us to act now to strengthen the immunity of our society against a virus of hate." Racism, which includes verbal and physical attacks on Asians and people of Asian descent, have spread with the COVID-19 pandemic, and we must all act decisively to address and stop this. Publicly condemning racism is an important part of our response to the COVID virus. Last week, you failed to do this when you allowed a person to repeatedly refer to the coronavirus as the China virus without addressing this as hate speech and mitigating its harm. Albert Einstein said, "The world is a dangerous place to live, not because of those who do evil, but because of those who look on and do nothing." You have a responsibility to protect us from hateful, racist, and xenophobic speech during public participation at board meetings. Thank you.
Mr. John Kawamoto, did I say it right? I'm going to call up the other five while you're coming up. Alan Wright, Michelle, I can't read this, Bellarmé, Michelle, and Jeff Herring, Stacy Price, the next five. Thank you for letting me do that.
Thank you, Board Chair Hammond, Board of Trustees, and Dr. Melton. Let me congratulate you, Dr. Melton, on being named State Superintendent of the Year. I want to also give a shout out to Amy Carter, State Teacher of the Year, and Mark DiMaggio, Region 4A Coach of the Year. The first thing I want to say is that I love School District 5. Dr. Melton, Ms. Carter, and Coach DiMaggio illustrate one of the reasons. My 3 children were educated here and went on to success in college. They became successful students, but equally important, productive citizens. Our top-notch educators are the reason why. I love working in this district. This district has been a fair employer, treating our education support professionals, or ESPs, with respect and making sure that pay raises and benefits are extended to all. It's because I love District 5 that I'm concerned about recent events and some of the decisions made in response. I am saddened that this district has left itself open to possible legal action or penalties because of the decision to delete our masking policy. I'm afraid that our lack of a plan is a lawsuit waiting to happen. Entities like OSHA may become involved. I fear a blow to our reputation. But I am more concerned about resources being wasted on this and being taken away from the real business of this district, educating our children. Just looking at logistics, I am afraid that day-to-day operations may be impacted. Contact tracing gives you credit for masking if you come in contact with someone who is infected. You will have to be quarantined if not masked. Since it's virtually impossible to maintain the required social distancing in the majority of our classrooms, quarantines will affect vastly more students, teachers, and staff if they are not masked. This will impact the ability of schools to safely serve our students. I love this district. Don't let it be heard in the courts or the court of public opinion. I feel that we should at least formally declare that D5 will follow the State Department of Education mask guidelines. We should also commit to practicing the guidelines in day-to-day operations. Is that it?
Thank you. Thank you very much. Alan Wright. Okay, that'll do it. I called the next 5, okay. Ms. Wright, thank you.
What started as a plea to unmask our children due to the board and district administration overreaching and violating our children's rights to choose has now turned into something totally different. There is a dictator among us. We must condemn and eliminate any type of dictatorship or tyranny. This is some communication that went out Friday that was not made public, went to our schools. A separate location will be designated for students who simply will not comply, and an administrator will escort the student to this location. Referrals written would not be for failure to wear a mask, but rather for refusal to obey, disrespect, or defiance. Are you being serious? How can you sleep at night? We aren't getting what we want, so we'll just beat it into them till they submit and comply with my dictatorship. We really write referrals for not wearing a mask, but we'll just call it something else. Our country was founded on all people are created equally. We aren't being treated equally. We are segregating and isolating our children for choosing not to wear a mask. Might I add, we have not adopted a new policy in District 5 except mask by choice. We have fundamental rights such as liberty, free speech, freedom of religion, due to process of law, and freedom of assembly. I believe a few in here have forgotten what liberty is. It is the state of being free within society from oppressive restrictions by authorities on one's way of life, behavior, or political views. Why do you continue to oppress our children with your mask guidelines? We are protected the United States Constitution, and our children are being oppressed by restrictions imposed by authority. We are forcing a covering over children's faces against their will and ours as their advocates. How can you not see this? How do you justify this? $10 billion in state funding? Would you kill for $10 billion? Would you turn your back on your country for $10 billion? Would you rather be a traitor? We cannot allow this to continue. We will not be pacified or concede until we rid our community of this despotism. Our district administration is attempting to supersede our board, who are duly elected by we the people. Our administration intends to shove this down our throats knowingly against our will. I know some of you are against this or feel this isn't your fight, but let me be very clear, it could be next time. The board works for we the people. That's how this is supposed to work according to district policy. Our entire board wasn't informed by legal counsel or district administration prior to Thursday night's phone call or email going out to the community. It's clearly against board policy and grounds for insubordination. I call on our board to stand your ground. This is setting the precedents for your future motion and votes. Be bold, be fearless, and do not let anyone take your voice.
Michelle, I apologize. I don't know if I said your last name right. Thank you.
It's Michelle Bullwinkle.
Thank you.
Good evening. Thank y'all for your time tonight. I can't see this gentleman, so please bear with me if I get lost on time. So the Lexington-Richland District 5 has earned statewide recognitions. My children, they're in the Chapin schools, and we have shared in this community the value which contributes to this great reputation. I've personally seen our schools come together for classmates suffering with a rare disease, another one that has battled cancer, and still further where we've had to huddle around a family that has lost a child, and we prayed together. To each of you sitting here, and to those that are listening in tonight, we need to remember these things. Our values, this is our community. I have been patient, my children have been respectful, and they've been obedient. Guys, this is the third meeting on masks. We all have our own opinions. We all have our own research. To those that want to say mask, guys, you can all continue feeling safe, secure, and supported. There's not a person in this room that's debating this, and they're not trying to take that away from you. So please, wear yours. You're free to do so. I just want for my children to feel the same way that y'all are also allowed to feel. Safe, secure, and supported. They are just as passionate about the freedom to be free of a mask, the freedom to breathe the air that God gave us, the beauty to see a warm smile, a sincere grin from a friend, and the ability to graciously hear what others are saying clearly. You know, we started this school year late, and we were all total virtual learning, total. Slowly we moved to a 3-day face-to-face learning model, but with fear. At the mere proposal to get a 5-day promised face-to-face option, some teachers protested, calling out the fear. This choice cannot be denied out of fear. We need to be leaders. And to those that are planning another protest call out, remember, there is a belief listed in our high school homepage. Trust is essential for a successful educational community, and every person has the right to feel safe and supported. Be a leader, rise above your own opinions, prepare yourself to do the job that you hold. Tonight, thank you. My ask of you, this board, is to remember that we are a great community because of the character in which we lead, the diversity in which we share, and the collaboration that we support. Dr. Melton, my ask of you is to respect this board's decision without coercion. It is their elected responsibility to hear from the community and then make their decision. Our very own state has given us the mask choice at every level now, and the decision tonight is not above that. I'll close with this. It's important. A passage from 2 Timothy 1:7, which reads, "For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and a strong mind."
Thank you.
Thank you for your time this evening. You've got a tough job.
Mr. Jeff Herring. Jeff, you were next in the line. He said he may not have y'all lined up right. I'm going by my numbered notes from Ms. Strange. Thank you.
Cool. My name's Jeff Herring. I'm a parent of a Spring Hill student, and I've lived in the district basically my entire life. A lot of people here to give passionate speeches about masks and whether they're healthy, unhealthy, safe, not safe, right, wrong, whatever the case. I'm not here for that. I'm here to talk about your procedures. I'm here to talk about your rules, and I'm also here to talk about the aesthetics of what's going on right now. Last Tuesday, you guys had a meeting. You called a special meeting, special reading, and a vote. Every parent in the district knew that you were having it. Every teacher, every administrator, and every lawyer knew what was going on. They knew what you were talking about. They knew what you were going to vote on, and they knew what the results could be, this way or that way. You had your vote. The lawyers that sat in here with you and the administrators that sat in here with you remained quiet, complicit, said nothing. I'm assuming because the vote passed. You sent out something saying that that everything had changed. Within hours, something changed. And my question is does a policy actually exist right now? One way or the other, does it exist? You don't have to answer. You guys had a vote, one reading in August 2020 to create a mask policy. Did y'all suspend the rules and just have one reading? Okay. Everyone was sent an email stating that the mask policy was still in place for today. Did y'all call a meeting and a hearing and a vote to reverse what you'd already voted on? Okay. Were you just told by your lawyers or the administrators that you had to change what you voted on? And if that is the case, when did y'all's procedures, your votes, your elected abilities become negate? Are you now being dictated to by non-elected officials, by people that are supposed to serve you, support you? I don't know if what just happened there. A majority of you guys know why you're here, and it's to support our kids, 100%. Right or wrong, good or bad, you do what you think is best. The taxpayers look for you to do just that, to look out for the needs of our kids, first and foremost, period. You're supposed to know the rules and follow them, just like we expect of our kids. Am I up?
You're up.
All right, just one last thing. We don't expect our administration to create rules for you guys, to tell y'all, or to tell the students that they are supposed to obey and being sent home for non-compliance. This falls on your
Mr.
clock.
Herring, time's up.
I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Stacy Price.
Hello. So I'm changing it up a bit. I'm going to talk about graduation for a second. But so I'm here to talk for my niece who's going to graduate, to ask if we can increase from 4 to 6, because it's going to be outside. I feel like that's a good number. At least I'm speaking from Dutch Fork. I got some numbers from her. You know, I think the stadium holds like 5,000 people or something like that. And if you did all the graduating seniors, that's still less capacity. As somebody who would like to see her graduate, that's my request. Then I will switch to masks, because I'm going to say this. So I'm not wearing one. I do not wish for my child to wear one. I respect everybody else's wish to have their child wear one or not wear one or wear one for themselves. I think that's where it gets a little tricky, is those of us that don't want to wear masks or our kids to wear masks, I don't mind your kid wearing a mask. I don't mind you wearing a mask. We're not asking you to not be able to do what it is that you feel is right. And I think somebody said earlier, masks aren't getting in the way of learning and happiness. I think that's debatable. I think that you do have children that it is bothering. I have a 7-year-old. It is affecting her learning a little bit. I can understand how older kids may get used to it, and they are more able to change and adapt to things like that. But I think these younger kids, it's really hard on them. But I think that there are a lot of parents out there that would completely disagree that the masks are causing harm to their kids. So you guys make your decision. I just thank you for your time.
Thank you. Andrea Creighton. All right, I need to give 5 more names, or do we have everybody in? It's Andrea Creighton, Kim Stutz, Christine Thornhill, Todd Grosh, and Jennifer Zingmack. As a teacher, when I say the names wrong, students really get mad at you, so I'm sorry if I'm saying them wrong. Andrea, is she here? Andrea? Okay. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm going to take Andrea's place at the moment. She's decided to let me go in her stead.
Okay.
My name is Kim Stutz, and I previously addressed the board back in September and supported the 5-day face-to-face instructional model. At that time, we were told that returning to the classroom full-time would be phased in, and it took approximately 5 months for this to happen. Also, during this time, the administration requested and the board approved the return to hybrid for secondary students and numerous distance learning days to accommodate the staff's need to track COVID numbers. In addition, since returning to school 5 days a week, in February, the board has approved several distance learning days to accommodate teachers getting their vaccines. This schedule does not even account for the in-service days and holidays that were already on the school calendar. In summary, I've counted the number of days that my son, who is a senior, has been in school so far this year. It is 100 days. This does not include the hybrid days when his cohort was working from home, nor does it include the Wednesdays of asynchronous learning, because those were merely busy work or no work at all. 100 days to get ready for 4 AP exams and to be prepared to go to college. Do you think that's enough time? I don't. It is my belief that the board has done everything they can to take into consideration the requests of the administration and the faculty of the district during the entire pandemic process. Furthermore, the board has supported the virtual option for teachers who do not feel comfortable in the classroom and for students whose parents have requested that option. These accommodations have been thoughtful and generous. However, for some, this is still not enough, and they wish to continue to impose their fears on the rest of us and our children by demanding that the mask mandate continue past the point of usefulness. The COVID positive numbers do not warrant the continuation of what was supposed to be a temporary policy, and continuing it will only further serve to divide the district. I support the action that the board took last week to make masks optional, and I'm appalled that the administration had the audacity to postpone the implementation of the new board policy before informing the board and before holding another meeting. Since when does the district's legal advisors have the authority to give the superintendent veto power? This is essentially what has taken place. Last week, the school board had a thorough discussion and debate with the opportunity for the public to be heard prior to taking a Democratic vote of 4-2 in favor of ending the mask mandate. I applaud the board members who chose to use common sense and offer a choice on this matter. The action by the administration that took place to suspend this vote is nothing less than a bureaucratic overreach of power. What good are our elected board members if some unknown legal advisors can usurp their actions? It is time for the school board to draw a line and uphold the decision to end the mask mandate and make masks optional. I'm sorry, Dr. Melton and staff, but we did not elect you, and you have no veto power over the actions of the school board. We live in a representative democracy where laws and rules should be made by a majority vote, not a single appointed individual. This is not a monarchy, and we do not have a queen. Finally, I appeal to the board to reevaluate the administration's plan for graduation ceremonies. It is ridiculous that stadium capacity and parking issues have been used as justification for allowing for graduation tickets. I know, but now I'm using my time. Our facilities are capable of handling much greater attendance, as has been demonstrated during previous years' football playoffs and band competitions. Again, this is another attempt by the administration to appease the public paranoia and try to avoid the liability they incur. Let's face it, the main reason the phasing in of the instructional models, keeping the mask mandate, and limiting seating at graduation is because of fear of liability. It is time to stop acting out of an abundance of caution, and it's time to have choice over mandate, faith over fear, and practicality over politics. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Stutz, let me be sure. Does Andrea Creighton still want the rest of her time? Okay, thank you. Christine Thornhill.
Hi. This year has been hard for so many people for so many reasons. As a teacher, I feel like we have been hit pretty hard in the public eye. We are heroes, then we're not. We are innovative, and then we're lazy. We are strong, and then we're scared. The list goes on, and sadly it will continue. The silver lining is our kids, and they love us. They love us when we give them hard assignments. They love us when we show them that they can do it, even when they believe they can't. And they love us with a mask, and they love us without a mask. They love us, period. It is our job to educate them, empower them, and prepare them for the future. But it is not our job alone. We partner with their parents. We work with their parents to find things to help their children in the classroom. We communicate with parents to share the joys and struggles that occur in the classroom. We listen to the parents when they express concerns and have questions. When things are out of our wheelhouse, we seek advice and guidance from the experts, but only with parent consent. Doctors also share their expertise, make recommendations, and get parental consent. Parents are only asking for something that we have been giving them from the beginning of their child's academic career, and that is parental consent. We are taught to differentiate instruction and meet children where they are so that we can get them where they need to go. We cannot do that to the best of our ability without the parents. Give the parents the choice so we can focus on educating our children and get them where they need to be. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Todd Grosh, Todd.
Good evening. We the people. It's an interesting line from our history of our country. We the people are taxpayers. We the people are voters. We the people elect local, state, federal officials. The board was elected by we the people. The board went ahead and voted 4-2 on behalf of we the people. They are our mouthpiece. The board has no business being overridden. The lawyers had time prior to last week's vote to go ahead and contemplate the decision that the board had to make and inform them so that everybody could collaborate and come up with a uniform decision. You had time. You can't go ahead and have a vote and then take it back. That is illegal. Going on from what I said last week, I challenged all of you. If you can't provide peer-reviewed evidence that these masks do anything versus a virus, this is all null and void. There's no reason to be here. This is ridiculous. Social distancing, same thing. Peer-reviewed evidence. 1 minute it's 6 feet, next minute it's 3 feet. Right there. Where's the evidence? If you can't provide the evidence, you can't go ahead and rule in favor of these draconian rules. It's ridiculous. For the people that are afraid, I'm a type 1 diabetic. I told you last week, I'm up here on the list of people that could die from this virus. I'm up here for the list of people that could die from the flu. Do we wear masks for the flu? I asked you that last week. No, we don't. A flu virus is small, just like a coronavirus. Unless it's an N95 mask, it's not doing a damn thing. It's not stopping anything. People need to wake up and they need to understand. Do a little bit of research. Use some common sense. It'll go a long way. But this is nonsense. It needs to stop. Our children are free, we're free, and the air is free. We do not have to ask what air we can and cannot breathe. If people want to wear a mask, if you want to get a vaccine, that is your choice. We have choice in this country, and we're not going to let it go. That's not going to happen. That's not why we're here. We're here having a discussion about something. But when a board takes a vote, that's the rules. How do you go ahead and pull that back? You can't. That's ridiculous. You all work for us. That's how it works. We pay taxes. This building here is ours, all of ours, whether you're on the mask side and the vaccine side or whether you're against masks. It's our building. You're our employees. So when you take the vote, you honor the vote. What kind of message is that sending to our children that we have in school? Oh, you can go ahead and vote for something and take it back? That makes no sense. Everybody needs to wake up and understand this. It's disgusting. Thank you.
Thank you. Jennifer, I'm not going to say this one right. Zingmack. Thank you. If you don't mind, I'm going to say the other five, so don't start her time yet. Katrina Jones, Lauren Gear, Jared Feasy, okay, Albert Jones, and Justin Robertson. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. You heard from my daughter a few minutes ago. I want to thank all of you guys for all that you do. I do believe that each of you serving on our school board and Dr. Melton and all of the staff and administration in our district do their job, serve willingly, are devoted to our students, and I appreciate that. I have 4 children that have grown up in District 5 and graduated from District 5, and my youngest is an 8th grader at Chapin Middle, and I do love District 5, and I know that we have wonderful teachers and staff and administrators, and I am so grateful for that. But I am here tonight to speak because I agree with our governor, Henry McMaster, when he said it is ridiculous for a school district to dictate whether a child should wear a mask or not. Our students should have a choice. And if people want to continue wearing masks, I think that's great. But for those of us who do not want our children or our teachers or the staff of our district to continue wearing masks. I feel like we should all have a choice as to whether or not we wear a mask. I also feel like these blinds should be open so that you all can see there are over 100 people out there in support of removing the mask. And I don't know why they're not open. I asked Cato if we could open them, and he said no. Is there anyone here that can allow you guys to see the people that aren't allowed in the building right now?
Dr. Melton, is there a reason? Do we usually have them down, or is it down because of the crowd?
I know Dr. Harris was concerned about safety by a neighboring district situation. So, Dr. Harris, from a safety perspective, do you mind if we opened, or would you?
The sun is going down this point, so I think we're okay to do that.
Okay.
Choose to do so.
You did it as a safety precaution, Dr. Harris? Okay. Thank you.
That's wonderful. I think it would be great if we could open it now that the sun is down and you guys could see, because we're being so restricted by the numbers that are allowed to come in and participate. I don't think you're getting an accurate representation of the parents and community members that want to be seen and heard tonight. And I also have a petition here signed right now by over 108 people since when I came in the building. There are others floating around outside that I have for the board. I would like to ask the board, petitioning you to call for a vote of no confidence in Dr. Melton for negating the board's repealing of the mask policy. You were elected by us, the people, and we need you to do your job. I know that you're all here because you care about our students and our community, and I need you to do your job. I'd like to leave this with you. There are more circulating outside. Thank you.
If you put it right here. Katrina Jones. Katrina Jones.
Good evening. I want to thank you for this opportunity to speak tonight. As you stated, my name is Katrina Jones. I'm the media assistant and after-school director at H.E. Corley Elementary School, and I'm a Lecturage 5 parent. I want to start off by saying congratulations to Dr. Melton for being named Superintendent of the Year by SCASA. It is a pleasure to work under your leadership, and you have so much support, and I can't say that enough. Secondly, I want to give praise to the wonderful faculty and staff at H.E. Corley Elementary School. I come from a strong military background in which I have experienced many different schools as a child, and then I married into it. So my kids have also experienced many schools. And it wasn't until I got to H.E. Corley Elementary School that I knew what a family was supposed to feel like within a school. It is amazing. The teachers go above and beyond. They have come to my child's dance recitals. They have scheduled parent and teacher theater at the movie theater to come together. When my daughter was sick in 2019, teachers and faculty showed up even though she couldn't wake up to bring her gifts and support. So I love this school and I love this district, and I can't say enough praise for them. Excuse me if I'm a little emotional because I love the school. I want to encourage the board to keep the mask mandate in place for the remainder of the school year. Many staff and parents came into the school year trusting the mandate would provide enough protection for us to complete the year safely. By removing this mandate, it is like you're yanking the rug out from under us. There is one word that I heard multiple times at the last board meeting, and that word is consistency. Students need consistency. Changing this policy with a little over a month left is irresponsible. Parent surveys nor staff surveys have gone out to indicate the majority of the population want this change. Please leave the policy as it is and reevaluate during the summer. Students are going to be allowed to be vaccinated in the coming weeks, but that too takes time. I understand some students have extenuating circumstances that require for more mask breaks. Please reach out to the teachers so they can fully understand the needs of your child and can possibly find a solution. My students are currently in 5, and I chose 5 because I was worried about inconsistency, and that choice was correct. I am so thankful for my choice and the wonderful teachers that are teaching my kids. The D5 staff has shown up and given 110%, and I fully believe that those that have serious concerns should partner with their teachers because we are all in this for the students. I know that whatever it is in the media center, whether we're in the media center or whether it's after school, if my kids need a break, they're set a little to the side to finish whatever their work so they can have that break and then rejoin whenever they're ready. we can take that time and find a common ground. I agree with the gentleman before me who said, you can't take back a vote. That's exactly what we're here to do, is take back the original vote. Okay, the mandate was put in place. Please trust DHEC, CDC, and World Health Organization and South Carolina Department of Education and keep this mask in the school. Thank you.
Thank you. Lauren Gear, am I saying that right?
Good evening. My name is Dr. Lauren Gare, and I'm an English teacher at Dutch Fork High School. I'm here tonight to express my concerns about lifting the mask mandate. One of the biggest concerns that I have about lifting the mask mandate is quarantining guidelines. How would these guidelines change due to lifting the mandate? Exams, EOC, and AP exams are coming up for many students. Lifting the mask mandate would surely change quarantining guidelines. What if students get quarantined because of others not wearing a mask and they lose instructional time before their exams? We are unable to socially distance in my classroom as it is. My students' desks are less than 2 feet apart. If we lift the mask mandate, quarantining guidelines will surely get worse. Also, what if a student gets quarantined and is unable to attend graduation? Over half of the classes that I teach have seniors in them, and this was their biggest concern, even for the students that don't really agree with wearing masks. The Chapin soccer team is currently in playoffs to win state. The Dutch Fork baseball team will be fighting for another state title shortly, and track athletes all over the district are working hard to compete for their chance at a state title. How will lifting the mask mandate impact these students? If we can't answer that question right now, then we surely can't make that decision about lifting the mask mandate. Another concern that I have for this is the message that is sent to teachers evaluating whether or not to stay in the district or come to the district. I feel like the decision last week was a very hasty and flippant decision. People are watching and people noticed. A neighboring district that I came from, Lexington 1, confronted this issue last week as well. They didn't have a specific district mandate because they chose to follow the recommendations from the state. Even though there were a number of people that had valid reasons and concerns against wearing masks at school, they are still continuing to follow the state guidelines and reevaluate at a later date after the school year. Our state has a teacher crisis. We can't let neighboring districts pull good teachers away due to reckless decisions. We need to be doing everything we can to attract teachers to come to our district. Luckily, we have teachers like Amy Carter, principals like Dr. Gary, and a superintendent like Dr. Melton that are literally the best in the state. However, they cannot retain teachers on their own. Our public persona and the decisions that you guys are diligently making or should be diligently making must do that too. Masks are really uncomfortable. I have worn one almost all day. However, is wearing a mask oppression? No, and if you think it is, you should check your privilege. This has been a difficult year. Teachers are tired and students are tired. We do not have much longer in the school year. Please consider letting us finish the school year without a policy change and thoughtfully reevaluate this position over the summer. Thank you.
Thank you. Jared Beesey.
I know a lot of people have come up here to talk about the masks, how good, bad, whatever they are, whatever your position is. What I'm concerned about is the procedures that happened last week. The board voted with enough votes to pass a policy. Then 3 days later, roughly 2 days later, all of a sudden it gets overturned. That made me start looking into how can that happen. I thought the board policy was the law of the land. I couldn't really find anything that had the superintendent have the ability to overturn a policy that was voted on by the board. One thing I did find is in emergency situations, a majority vote of the board members present at a regular or special meeting may temporarily suspend the operation of any section or sections of board policy which are not established by law or contract. A proposal for such change must be listed on the agenda in the meeting. That's just part of your standards of doing all this. Also, under review, the board will approve administrative rules which such approval is required by law or otherwise advisable. The superintendent, the superintendent will have the freedom, however, to issue additional rules and procedures consistent with board policies. Board may nullify any administrative rules determined to be inconsistent with the policies adopted by the board. That's just one example. I still don't see anywhere on there, and have found anywhere, where one person can overrule an elected board. Number two, appraisal and approval. The board is responsible for evaluating the effectiveness of its policies and how well they have put into action. The superintendent recommends specific action, and if this action, and it is the function of the board to appraise the value and importance of each recommendation and to act on each proposal. The reason why I'm going over these is so that many can have a better idea of what the process is for these boards, for these policies to get passed. It is a board, an elected board policy. Lastly, reviewing action. The board has final authority within the law for the operation of schools. No section of these policies and procedures may be construed to limit the statutory powers of the board to exercise its own judgment, the basis of the recommendation of the superintendent. I take that as the board is the law, not one person. One person does not dictate what we voted for in putting all you guys on the board. I appreciate this has been a hard year and a hard situation, but what I'm worried about is how this will set up for future issues, whether I agree or disagree with them. It is not a precedent that we need to start now.
Thank you. Albert Jones. If you don't mind, Mr. Jones, I'm going to read the next five so they be in line. Thank you so much. Caitlin Walker, is it Wyatt Robinson? I can read the last name, I'm not sure that's correct. Rosie Robinson and Hope Lights. Thank you. It looks like it's L-Y-A-T-T. Okay, thank you. Go ahead, I'm sorry. Apologize.
Good evening, board members. Congratulations to Mrs. Carter, Dr. Gary, and Dr. Melton for your outstanding accomplishments. Each of you embodies what hashtag Pride in 5 truly means. Since May 4th, 2021, I have been ashamed that we collectively allowed a constituent to spew racism from his lips across the world. And I mean the world, because once it hits the internet, it's there forever. I stand firmly in my belief that we must maintain all CDC guidance, which includes wearing masks. However, I speak before you today as a co-conspirator for racial justice. We collectively, and I say we because at that moment we were all complicit in some way, allowed for this man to say something egregious that continues to impact Asian communities across the globe. To add insult to injury, this language was used during Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. On 3 separate occasions, this person used a racist term for a life-threatening virus, and not one person said anything about it. And I repeat, on 3 separate occasions, this person used a racist term for a life-threatening virus, and not one person said anything about it. Not a single board member deemed it necessary to stop the violence and abuse occurring at that moment. On June 15, 2020, I stood before the board in this very room and said these words: our schools have the obligation to serve the students who attend them. At this moment, serving your Black students and students of color means openly and loudly affirming your stance as an anti-racist institution, condemning all types of violence against Black and people of color in America, offering resources for both education and traumatized individuals, and committing our district to reconsider how its policies, curricula, and staff can be updated to meet this significant moment. Most importantly, you can ensure that your attitudes and actions are consistently anti-racist as a standard. We ask you to please take time to continually educate students, staff, faculty, and yourselves on these matters. Ask questions and take action. May 4th, 2021 proved that there is much work still left to be done. During this meeting, the concept of adults being role models to our students was discussed. Each of you had the power while seated in a padded chair to stop a racist act, and in no way did you all choose to be role models. Be better.
Thank you. Caitlin Walker.
Hi, my name is Caitlin Walker, and I've been teaching for 7 years. I'm currently Teacher of the Year at Dutch Fork Elementary. This year has been hard for everyone, parents, teachers, but most of all, our students. We are all living through a global pandemic, and it's not easy for anyone. However, I felt it was important that I come here tonight and talk about the students. At DFES, we have a model between staff and students, that we make sure everyone is safe, valued, and loved. My job, first and foremost, is providing my students with a safe learning environment. One of the main things that makes first graders and really all children feel safe is consistency, stability, and being prepared for big changes as much as possible. Social distancing from each other in my room is nearly impossible, and it's also nearly impossible when you teach 6- and 7-year-olds. In my classroom, we do not have desks, we have tables. Because of the available space, we sit 3 to 4 people at a table, and the shape of the table means that children have to face each other. While I can try to have the tables 3 feet away from each other, the students at each table are not 3 feet away. Plexiglass also does not work with the table shape. The only protection my students have from each other is masks. During this year, many parents have made the choice to choose in-person learning over virtual because we had a clear mask policy. I personally also only made the choice to come in person because of the mask policy required everyone to wear masks. If we are truly planning on making masks optional, then it will be necessary for the 5 program to reopen in order for families to be allowed to make the safest choice for their students. But please be aware of the effect that this will have on our students and teachers in the 5 program, that these children will suddenly be shifted into a new learning environment with instructors and classmates they have not had the time, with less than 29 days left in school, to build the necessary trust with their new community and master a new style of learning within this short time. Additionally, even if the change from the classroom to virtual would be feasible, there are many families who could not make the change so suddenly due to work schedules and childcare needs. Many families do not have this flexibility or privilege. The students who must stay in school because of the previously mentioned barriers would then have to bear the weight of an additional fear and concern on their shoulders, for who would have to increasingly worry about the spreading COVID-19 to medically vulnerable family members or to younger non-vaccinated siblings. The abrupt change in this policy was given to our schools with almost no notice and with quite a lot of confusion around the specifics. This has then forced our students and families to have to make hard decisions without any time to prepare in a year where so many hard decisions have already had to be made. So my ask is not just for me, it's for my students and their families. Please consider how this change, with less than 29 days left in school, will affect those whom we are charged with ensuring are safe, valued, and loved. Thank you.
Thank you. While the next speaker is Justin Robertson, I think you in line. While that's going on, I would entertain if anybody, as the board, would like those to be opened. It would have to be a motion.
There's a beautiful sunset.
I got you.
Yeah, if I have to make a motion, I move that we open the blinds, because there's a lot of people out there.
Is there a second?
Ms. Hammond, we were waiting to the speakers finish, but if you'd like to have them open now, we can certainly open them right now. Ms. Strange is waiting for, not to be a disruption, but we can certainly have them open.
Is it a
Ms. Garris, is that something you can do for us from your position, or?
We probably don't need it. I think that I understand the request from one of the other speakers that since they can't all come in, do you have a problem if we do that? And I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're fine. I'll wait.
I was trying to do it before you started talking. If we can open it, I certainly don't mind the board seeing the number of people that are here. While they're doing that, I don't think this, that shouldn't hurt you. You can still listen. So go ahead. Thank you so much. And you're Justin Robertson.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you for your patience.
No problem. Good afternoon, board members, trustee, and district attorneys who's taken up parent seats tonight. My name is Justin Robertson. I am a D5 graduate and father of 3 D5 students, 2 of which are still enrolled. Both are involved in extracurricular activities, sports, and AGP classes, and also very high scores on your standardized tests that contribute to your funding. My children have been involved in this district for the past 15 years, and me nor my fiance have been, who has been an employee and asset to this district for the past 25 years. have never come and sat in on a board meeting, sent a text, an email, made a phone call. Why? Because we of this community elect you people to make the best calls for our children and their safety, and would put our children first. That was until we hit March of 2020. I started following this board closely. Mr. Hogan, Mrs. Hines, I commend you for your efforts and your willpower to fight for our children. Our voice is very, very limited in this arena. Molly Spearman, Christina Melton, the Department of Education, love to mention data, reasons our children cannot return to normal. However, they all have all seemed to overlook a huge factor in this whole debacle. This virus was around long before March, and if you look at attendance records as far back as December of 2019, y'all had a mass epidemic on your hands right before your eyes, and yet we still continued to go to school maskless for 3 months. There was no big ordeal until it went national, and y'all sent these kids to school for 3 months with no mask, and now all of a sudden you're mandating their every move. It's not okay. Not okay. I know you all scrambled and tried to do what was best for our children. A 2 to 3 separation from in-class learning was a great idea. We all were on board as a community to do what's best. The more we learned about this virus, the more we learned that children are not as affected as adults. Here we are a year and a half later, and we know that the survival rate's 99.7%. Our children have already been exposed to herd immunity prior to the lockdown for 3 months. We had no mask at the height of this, so why now? Y'all are adamant about picking and choosing data. I suggest it all gets the attention it deserves. It's time to wake up, give us parents the right to make the choice for our kids, and get this thing going. You know, this has gone on long enough. I want one of you to make a motion about this vaccine being mandated in our school district. I don't want go ahead and get ahead of the curve now because we all know it's coming. I don't want to be here with this a year down the road. I don't want to be here with masks when we come back in the fall. This ends now. It's got to. Y'all are all smart people. Look at the data. It's there. You're just not choosing. Look back to December of 2019, please.
Thank you, Mr. Robertson. This is another Robinson, but I'm not saying, is it L-Y-A-T-T? Sorry. It's not your handwriting, it's my reading. Thank you.
How's it going, members of the board? I am Wyatt Robinson. I'm an alumni of Irmo High School, graduated last year. I'm currently going to Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University for a degree in rocket science and aerospace engineering. I just want to come back and thank Dr. Melton for all that you've done. You were my first principal, and I think I was your first kindergarten class back in elementary school. You have done a phenomenal job your entire time. I want to congratulate you on your award recently for being the best superintendent in the state. That is phenomenal. Congratulations. I want to thank all y'all for being here tonight. I want to encourage y'all to keep the mask mandate. I believe that it is the correct thing to do, and I'll leave it at that. Thank you very much. That's all the time I want to use.
Thank you. Thank you. Rosie Robinson. I'm going to read the other 5, Rosie, while you're coming up. Hope is that. And then Sarah Ostergaard, Ruth, I can't read his last name.
Iglesias is her last name.
Thank you. And Matthew Derrick and Rena Floyd. Just get those. All right. Thank you for waiting.
Good evening, Board of Trustees. Good evening, Dr. Melton. Good evening, Chairman Hammond. I am that loud and proud Irmo High School parent. You've heard me before, you're gonna hear me again. I would like to brag about the positive things that are happening in the Irmo cluster in this great district. I hope each of you wanna look so then you can pay attention?
I'm watching you.
Thank you. I hope that each and every one of you have had a chance to read the Irmo Strong publication. This amazing piece depicts the wonderful collaboration and unity among our schools in the Irmo cluster.
Irmo High's tennis coach, Mark DiMaggio, has been named the Region 4A Coach of the Year. We have also had many of our spring athletes, both boys and girls, chosen for various all-state teams. Irmo High hosted the 4A and 5A girls and boys lacrosse state competition games a few weekends ago, and I had the privilege to volunteer in the concession stand both days, and Irmo received high praises for our wonderful facilities. I continue to be proud of both the IB diploma and the IB career programs at Irmo High. Next month, after the AP exams are over, several of our IB students and teachers are leading fun seminars with topics to include how to change a tire, how to defense against the dark arts, how to throw a Frisbee, and many, many more. This project embodies the open-minded, holistic spirit of the IB program. I would like to share my appreciation to Dr. Melton and others in the Office of Instruction for ensuring strong academic offerings in all clusters of the school district. Lastly, Dr. Melton, congratulations on being the State Superintendent of the Year. You know thy impact. And I would join you for ice cream and cakey cake anytime.
Thank you. Hope lights.
This is kind of tall. Good evening. I think the noise outside is a distraction. I believe you read something earlier in the policy about noise and making a fuss. So,
I did read about any kind of disruptions.
No, I think it's disruptive with the moving forward. Good evening to you all. Good evening, Dr. Melton. I'm a second grade teacher at H.E. Corley Elementary Leadership and Montessori Magnet, where I have proudly taught this is my 22nd year. So I've definitely enjoyed being there, being a member of the district. I live in the district. I bought my home in the district before I became a teacher here in the district. So I too am a constituent here. Let me say congratulations, as the others have also said to you, Dr. Melton, on a fine job that you've done. Thank you for never losing sight of the health and well-being of all of the Lexington Richland 5 students, the staff, and this community. Thank you very much. I'd also at this time like to recognize the leaders of my school, Principal Jason Pollock, Assistant Principal Melanie Harris, and Administrative Assistant Principal Julie Carruthers. It has been no easy task leading through the many challenges and changes of this year. For example, like updating the related art schedule. I think we're on draft 208 for all the changes from the start, stop, coming back, kids coming in, adding kids, deleting kids. So just so you know, any disruption causes a disruption on many levels. You may not be aware of what happens in the background, but many things do occur that affect all students, staff, and families. We've done all this while still maintaining high expectations of teaching and learning. I also want to say that I've heard many talk about the students and nobody's thinking of the students and how they feel. Well, I'm going to speak about the students in my second grade class and the students at H.E. Corley. They come in, they're excited in the morning, they're happy. I personally have not received any complaints from parents, the students. They wear them. You know, they have breaks for masks outside of eating, recess. I've said, hey, take your mask off, and, you know, they continue on. New way of playing. We build a strong foundation of community in the family model. It's work. I would hate to have to go back to being in rows, being that we employ the Kagan cooperative learning methods, sitting in pods, with the mask on. they're able to become one and still be the best they can be. My ask is that you continue with the masking.
Thank you. Sarah Ostergaard. Ms. Ostergaard, I think I saw a very wonderful article about you in the
Oh, really?
Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you. It's because I stand on the shoulders of others, so thank you. My name is Sarah Ostergaard, and I am a proud teacher at Irmo High School. I am a proud parent of a daughter, now only one, in School District 5. I'm an economics and government teacher at Irmo High School. As a teacher, I teach both fully virtually through the wonderful 5 program and face-to-face at the amazing Irmo High School. It's been an amazing year. I choose to celebrate the accomplishments, learn from the challenges, and spotlight a few celebrations for you tonight. Irmo High School students won first and second and third place in the statewide economics challenge. This is a tough challenge that recognizes exceptional high school students for their knowledge of economic principles and their ability to apply problem-solving and critical thinking skills to real-world problems. Irmo High School students swept the state in the David Ricardo division. The first place team, all Irmo High School students, are also all 5 virtual academy students. This is a Pride in 5 celebration since they learned economics from different teachers virtually. Thank you to Steve Fisher of Dutch Fork High School and Jeremy Duffy of Irmo High School, and 2 of the students are also mine. All of these students are also in Irmo High's career-related personal professional skills course this semester, and in this course we talk about meeting challenges head-on, which is what we do. In this core International Baccalaureate career-related course, students also complete community service hours called service learning. This action connects their knowledge and understanding in content areas. These Irmo High students are doing amazing work this year. They have volunteered with Lisa's Care Connection Senior Celebration, Salute Shoals, Shuckin' Fundraiser, Adopt a Highway Cleanups, and more. I'm also a parent, skipping a few of the celebrations. I have had 3 children in School District 5 at Irmo Middle School and Irmo High School. Although a Teacher Appreciation Week was last week, I want to celebrate their wonderful teachers. My son Jack graduated last year from Irmo High School. His senior year of high school was different. He finished his freshman year in the Honors College at the University of South Carolina with all A's, and I thank his excellent teachers. My daughter, who attends Irmo High School through the 5 program, also has terrific teachers. And this year, my household celebrates Pride in 5 in a unique way. She has teachers from Irmo High School, Dutch Fork High School, Spring Hill High School, the Kate Center, and Virtual SC. And that, to me, is real Pride in 5. Thank you.
Ruth, I'm going to let you say your last name because I don't want to say it wrong.
My name is Ruth Iglesias, and I'm here to talk Pride, D5. My husband and I are the proud parents of 2 boys that attend Irmo High School. We have a senior, will be attending college this fall, and a freshman on the credential track. I'm here today to talk about the positive experience of this district. I am grateful for the opportunity to be involved with my children throughout the years. I've been involved as a volunteer, a classroom parent, PTSO member and president, and SIC member. Being a volunteer, I was able to be in the schools and many times was so grateful for the daily dedication the teachers have with our children. While I was PTSO at Irmo Middle a few years back, I had the privilege of working with a great group of individuals. Our goal was simple. Our teachers care for our children, so every day we would come alongside our teachers and care for them and our staff. And I also had the honor of sitting in many parent advisory committee meetings, first under Dr. Hefner and then Dr. Melton. Every time I had the opportunity to sit in the meeting, I was always impressed with the knowledge and dedication of the administration every day. And I loved so much how the focus was on the students celebrating achievements and accomplishments. I'm also grateful for the activities that my children have been involved with over the years: Irmo High Marching Band, Irmo High Orchestra, Irmo Middle, Crossroads Orchestra, Irmo High Lacrosse. The programs provided enrichment in their lives academically and socially, and have provided scholarships for my son this fall. And I'm grateful for the special education program my son has been a part of since he was 3. Started at H.E. Corley, then Oak Point, then Irmo Middle, then Irmo High. He was nonverbal, and now I have what he's called an out-loud love for people. And I think he's becoming friends with almost all the staff at Irmo High School. He loves his job responsibilities. But finally, what I really appreciate is sometimes things were not okay. Sometimes there were problems. I would process, I would work through, I would talk to the appropriate people with respect. We would identify, and we would work through the problems together. We were a team, parents and the teachers. So I'm so grateful for the District 5 and the experience our family has had. And I'm grateful for all the teachers and the staff and administration. And it's my hope that our community will come together and talk more about our strengths so we can keep what makes a district wonderful: the children, the teachers, the staff, and our wonderful administration. Thank you.
Thank you. Matthew Derrick. Matthew Derrick. Almost Matthew, and then Raina Floyd, Laura LaSalle, Kristen Batchelor, Eric Coravin. Are they out there? He went to get the, I'm sorry, I should have been, with this hour of lateness, I should have been quicker. Thought I had named him. What's your name, sweetie? Okay, because you're in this group. If that's, I think that's appropriate. Come on, Raina Floyd, and then I'm just going to put you out of order, but that's okay. While we wait, for sake of time, I know you want to get to the rest of the meeting. Thank you.
Hello and good evening. My name is Raina Floyd. I'm a 21-year teacher veteran, twice nationally board certified, and I hold a master's degree on top of my math degree. I've been teaching in the district for 19 years. I took a 2-year break, went to another district, and realized this is where I wanted to be. I've been in the Irmo cluster now for a combined 15 years, Irmo Middle, and then I got to graduate and go to Irmo High. I want to speak to you as a parent first. This year has been amazing for my children. I want to sing Irmo Elementary's praises, specifically Emily Cates. She's amazing. She does all that she can through the 5 program to love on my twins. She works relentlessly on social emotional learning for them as well. So I know Teacher Appreciation was last week, but I want to give her a huge shout out. My son transitioned from the 5 program back to face-to-face in February. And I want to give a shout out to Miss Major Murphy and her entire staff, because it was a seamless transition. They welcomed the kids back from 5, and it's like they never left. And I really do appreciate that as a mom. Irmo High School, even though I'm not in the building this year because I am 5, has just been awesome. They've gone out of their way to include children who are participating in 5 to make them feel like they're a part of the Irmo family, even if they're not in person. So I just wanted to give a big shout out to the Irmo cluster because I'm an Irmite through and through. I wanted to speak to a couple of concerns that I have, specifically speaking to how things went down last meeting. I believe someone else has already spoken to the issue of a racial slur that was not addressed by the board. And I understand and I do appreciate the public participation, that people are able to speak their minds and you all don't interrupt. I understand that, I do. But the fact that it wasn't addressed afterwards is disconcerting. We have quite a large Asian Pacific Islander population, I know at least at Irmo High School and the Irmo cluster. And I'm really prayerful that no one in the community that could have been impacted by those statements, I hope they didn't watch the video. I hope they didn't watch live. One of the things I really do appreciate, I've experienced in the Irmo cluster, I've only taught in the Irmo cluster, really I taught for a couple years at Dutch Fork Middle, but that was a lifetime ago. So my experience there and also in the Irmo cluster is inclusivity. And so It does not necessarily send the best message to students who are either first generation children of immigrants or they themselves are. So I would really encourage the board and the district to work on that. Good evening.
Thank you. Matthew Derrick.
Now, the other week, I might have been a little harsh on y'all. I mean, I know that y'all got into this because you love kids. At least that's what I'm hoping. I just think you're misinformed. You're listening to propaganda science, all right? Peer-reviewed study after peer-reviewed study that masks are harmful for healthy people to wear them all the time. Reduction of the oxygen, harm to the immune system, and yet we continue. 78% of all the people that got hospitalized for COVID were obese. I'm not talking about that. In the 70s, they started a SARS vaccine. 58 people died. Government said, we got to stop it. It's unethical for us to continue. Today, over 3,000 have died, and 115,000 people have been injured. That a very outdated system is just reporting to us, which I tell you it's more. Because I know where this mask thing's going. None of you are doctors, and you're relying on, like Mr. Fauci, for instance, who is a gain-of-function researcher, invested in the lab that apparently Wuhan was released the coronavirus. You know what their study was? Increase the function of coronavirus. The deaths aren't what they said. 2 million deaths. We're at 500,000. They're trumping the numbers. CDC just came out this week. 5% of the people died from COVID. 5%. They also upped the comorbidities. 4 comorbidities per COVID death. And yet we continue. So if you continue with this, I'm considering that y'all are just in for tyranny. Because this is common sense. This isn't science. This is you ignoring the will of the people. At some point, this country got away from the government, were scared of us. And now we're all scared of them. You know, in 1987, when the government bailed out the vaccine companies, they said that we'll take liability from now on and we'll do safety tests every 2 years. There hadn't been one safety test, not one. Thank you.
Thank you. Laura LaSalle. Laura LaSalle.
I'm glad you opened the blinds, but in case it's too dark to see, I just want you to know there's not hundreds of people out there. There's 35. They're just really loud. My name is Kristen Batchelor, and I am the Spanish teacher at Irma Elementary School and the proud parent of 2 D5 students. I came to be a teacher through the PACE program after working for a Fortune 500 company as a training manager, curriculum developer, and a communications manager. I bring a wealth of experience with me, and I am a good teacher. I left my well-paying career to be a stay-at-home mom and then chose to teach so I could be on the same schedule as my children. Due to COVID this year, teaching is what has taken me away from my children due to several changes in schedules and expectations. I am immunized. I'm not worried about getting sick. To be honest, I'm not terribly worried about my children getting sick. I think they'll be okay. But I respect those who do not feel the same way. I think their concerns are justified. What I am most concerned about is the division in our community. I am concerned about the hate I see spewed against anyone who holds a different view. I am concerned that we teach our children to be kind and tolerant, and yet we do not set that example for them. What I witnessed in my school this week after the meeting last Tuesday was a divisiveness between children that I have not seen all year. The arguments of adults do not belong in the elementary school classroom, but that is where they have landed. I am also confused as to why both sides of the debate are not considered. Why is it that those who want their children in masks are told they could go virtual if they feel unsafe. Why isn't it considered that those who do not want their children in masks could go virtual where masks are unnecessary? I'm not saying which is the right option. I am questioning why both options are not under consideration. And in mentioning 5, I realize that throwing that out as a last-minute option is not realistic or operationally feasible. I hear a lot of people saying they are only thinking of the children. I teach over 400 children a week, and I don't think they are as impacted by whether or not they wear a mask as they are by the examples that are set for them. If we are truly concerned about what is best for children, we will communicate with those who have different points of view from us in a manner that is respectful and kind, setting an example for children to follow. This should start by being exemplified by the board. What children need is stability, and for our face-to-face students, it is something we have not provided to them. Every time they turn around, there is a major change brought into their school life. For our most vulnerable students, school may be the only stable part of their life, and this year has been anything but that. This school year is almost over. Forcing yet another change at this point is not about mental health or physical well-being. It is about an effort to exert authority and influence. It is not an emergency. It's going to result in chaos right before testing and will ensure that we end the school year on a negative note rather than just letting it ride out in peace. I am one of several teachers who has turned in their resignation and will be not teaching for the D5 year. This is in large part because I am not willing to subject myself to the micromanaging, disrespect, and disdain launched against teachers this year by certain members of the community and of our board. Some will say good riddance, but mine is one of at least 4 elementary school Spanish positions that will need to be filled. Dr. Melton, it's been a pleasure to work for you.
Thank you. Kristen Batchelor. Did I say that right? Or is it Kristen? I have Kristen, and I have Eric, and I have Stephanie. Wait a minute, guys. Yeah, that's in order. Are any of the... Oh, that was, excuse me. Oh, I got you. Thank you, Kristen. Where's Kristen? Okay. So I have, are you Eric?
Yes,
Thank you. I have that right.
Thank you all for hearing me tonight. I am from the land of Ireland, a land where we fought for 800 years for freedom from the British. And you know what's amazing in Ireland today is my grandmother can't go 7 kilometers from her home or she'll be fined for COVID-19. This is the same country that wanted freedom from tyranny, freedom for people just to wear the color green. That was forbidden by from the Irish people. I read about George Washington and Paul Revere and these great American heroes that I know you all admire. And I ask you this question. We the people, it's not just a nice saying. They believed in giving freedom to we the people. You see, America was the first great experiment of our time for people who are not people of royalty, not people of novelty, to have their own rights protected. And when I see these parents crying, it breaks my heart. You see, I was 98% deaf. I had eczema all over my body. Every doctor in Ireland said I was autistic and everything else. But my mother stood for me. And these mothers here today are standing for their children. They're not saying people who wear masks are evil. They're saying let them wear a mask if they feel their child should wear a mask. And if they shouldn't, they shouldn't. Because a parent knows their child more than any school administrator. And that is family. If we lose family, we lose our country. It's an honor for me to speak to you tonight. Thank you for hearing me.
Thank you, Eric. I skipped, and I'm sorry. It's Laura LaSalle. LaSalle, did I say it right? Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and call up the next 5 after, if you don't mind, while you're coming up. Tim Whipple, Roger Nelson, we're getting to the end. Angela Durham, Laurie Carnes, Aaron Gregory, and Cortland Thomas. I went and read all of them. That was more than 5, but that way they can be preparing. Thank you for waiting.
No worries. All right. Okay, we've been here. This is our third week in a row. Last week a vote was taken as the board, which I want to congratulate those who decided to stand up for our children. Thank you for having the internal fortitude to do that. Unfortunately, you're being challenged and intimidated by somebody else who has a lawyer involved. And it's not that person's job. It's an intimidation. We as parents don't appreciate it. You're hurting our children, and you're doing it on purpose. And how was that toy event? without masks that we have lots of pictures of. Hypocrisy is rampant. It's okay for you, but not for us or our children. You know, the littles, the 4 and 5-year-olds that are terrified to take off their mask. And it's nice to see a mask on a couple because usually there's just one mask on somebody. And if you look at the representation in this room, some are masked and some are not. This is exactly what your parents deserve and want for their children. And you're saying no, but you're doing it. What does that say about you guys? You're not following science. You're following money, which Mr. Lovelace did talk about last week in the funding.
Let's don't call anybody out, though, by name.
Really?
Yeah. We're not supposed to call any board member by name. Thank you.
Oh, I didn't know that was a rule, but that's another one we can break, right? It's okay. So anyway, we have some that are non-masked, some that are masked. I'm surprised that you guys let the masked ones in with the non-masked. Where's the science? Peer-reviewed clinical studies show us the mask work. There is no such thing because they don't. So all you're doing is playing politics with children. You're not doctors. Some teachers it's okay with, some teachers it's not. Who's the doctor in there? The ones that are comfortable so one kid can go to class and have to wear a mask, but go to the next class and the teacher has the right to let them remove it. How does that work? Is COVID that picky? Or are we playing games? I think we know the answer. And we're getting louder like I tell you every week. And that teacher that was just up here that's resigning, whatever, it's good for her. Anyway, she's resigning and she's saying there's only 35 people out there because there were a lot of people that showed and the other ones are just too intimidated to show. Just like this board is being intimidated illegally. Please do what you did last time and vote for the children. Not the parents, the children. Vote for the children, and you don't have a license. You're not doctors, and you're practicing malpractice, as well as just atrocities towards children, which is called child abuse.
Thank you. I would disagree that anyone wants child abuse.
I know you disagree. We had that talk before.
Point of order. Yeah, I need you to. Your time's up. Please, I know you're going to be respectful and not keep talking. Thank you. Kristen Batchelor. Sorry, I don't know how I have her out. Stephanie, yes. Is it Berquist? Thank you. Thank you, Nick. How I got her wrong.
All right, I've been to these meetings before. I took it upon myself to listen gracefully to everybody else that has spoken. I usually say a little tiny prayer to myself, and I just ask God for the words. I don't usually prepare something. I hope that it comes to me, and it certainly did. I've heard a lot of people congratulate you, teachers, the minority that is here talking about how good the district is doing, and congratulations on the great teachers. All that is okay, okay? It's okay. I've had people come up here that I've heard and talk about how happy they are to work for the district. That's okay too, okay? This is all okay, but that's not what this is about, okay? It is about whether the autonomy for parents to make medical decisions for their minor children is being taken away, and it is, okay? If you want to wear a mask and you are happy in the district and you are happy for Miss Melton and you are happy for all those things, that is okay. If you do not want to wear a mask and you as an educated adult and somebody who is a parent of a minor child, kindergarten through 12th grade, have a family discussion with whoever is in your family that is not okay, that's okay too. And I don't know who gave y'all the right to take away the autonomy for parents to make medical decisions for their minor children. There is a reason that children aged 5 through 18 can't vote, smoke, have sex, make decisions, sign contracts. According to doctors, their mental capacity isn't there. We are their advocates. That is our job. Everybody in this room can have a different belief, and that's okay. I do believe in being respectful, but I am not being respected. These parents here are not being respected. And with all due respect, y'all don't have that authority. You have no medical authority over my child. It doesn't exist. Okay? Y'all took a vote last week. Last time I checked, this is America. We vote on a democratic system, okay? Y'all took a vote. Everybody was very happy with that vote, okay? Now, somebody is intimidating you to overturn that vote. That is not acceptable, and I am not an attorney in the court of law, but last time I checked, that's illegal. So not only do I not know who gave you the autonomy, or excuse me, the authority to take away my right as a parent to make medical decisions for my child, I don't know who gave you the autonomy to just overturn a democratic vote. I don't know. Okay? You want to wear a mask? That's fine. Okay? We're not asking for that. I can't believe we're even asking. Okay? This is a choice. And unless the Department of Social Services knocks on every parent's door who doesn't want to wear a mask, last time I checked, it's our choice. Do
Time's
the
up.
right thing right now.
Thank you. Time's up. Tim Whipple.
I have a few notes here I just wanted to share with you guys.
You're a basketball coach. You don't
mind.
supposed to have notes.
Oh, no notes? I'm sorry. I'm a teacher. My name is Tim Whipple. I have worked in District 5 for over 40 years. At Irmo High School as a teacher and as the men's basketball coach. I think that I'm in a unique position in that there aren't many people that have been around here for 40 years. When I first came, Harbison Boulevard wasn't a road. You know, so I don't know how many of you have lived in this community as long as I have and been a part of this community as long as I have. I care about it deeply. It means a lot to me. I've spent my life working with the young men and women that have gone to the school district. What I compare this to right now is, to me, athletics. It's to a basketball team. For us to be successful, everybody on our team must work together. Everybody on our team has a role. And for us to be successful, everyone has to fulfill that role. And I think that's what we have. That's what our situation is. It is hard when people are so passionate about something and are get up here and they care. I coach. I deal with parents every single day. I teach. I deal with parents every single day. I know the passion. But I also know what it's like to be a part of a team and to be a successful team. And to do that, you have to make sacrifices for what is good for the entire team, not just for individuals in that team. Was that 1 minute? Okay. That's 1 minute's a lifetime for a coach. I'm good to go. That goes on forever. I am here really for one reason, and it's to show my support for the school district because I do care, and for Christina Melton. Her leadership to me in my 40 years has been exemplary. I think what she does day in and day out in this situation, in the midst of what we've gone through in this last year has been incredible. And I want to thank her for her leadership and what she's done for this school district in her time here. Thank you guys. Good luck. God bless you. You're going on 2 hours. Mm-hmm. We'll see you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Whipple. So I'm going to lead the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5. If there's anybody that I missed by shuffling papers up here, please tell me. But it'd be Roger Nelson. Okay, Roger Nelson, Angela Durham, Lori Carnes, Aaron Gregory, and Cortland Thomas. Okay, that'll be it. Thank you, sir.
Good evening. Thank you for the time. I, like Coach Whipple, have been in Irmo forever. I went to Irmo Elementary School. I went to Nursery Road the first year it opened. I actually came back and worked there as a janitor when I was young. My kids went through District 5 already. I do remember when Harbison Boulevard wasn't even there as an exit. So I've been here just as long as he has. All this is about is the kids. You guys are here for the kids. Your job is to make sure that the kids have a good, healthy learning environment. Everything has been said tonight. I'm not going to repeat it. I'm just going to try and make this a little personal so you guys understand where we're coming from. We care about our children not having to wear masks as much as people who want their children to wear masks care. It's the same thing. It's just a matter of whether we have choice or not. Last Tuesday, my wife came and spoke. We got home, we had a great night. We were so excited. My daughter was so excited to know that this Monday she would not have to come to school with a mask on. Thursday night, got the email, got the voicemail, and I had to watch my child cry because she has to wear a mask. She's crying. My child loves school. She's intelligent. She's the best in her class. She doesn't stand to go to school. She doesn't want to go to school anymore because of this. And I'm just here as a parent asking you to fix it. We just want the option. We just want a choice. It can't be this is the only way because that's not America. You guys already made that decision last week, but you went back on it. You went back on it. Why? Just follow through like you already made your decision. You did it once. Make it happen again. Exactly what the speaker said earlier. This is what we want the classroom to look like. If you want to wear the mask, wear it. If you don't, don't. It's that simple. We've been over a year into this thing. Give it a rest. Okay? Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Angela Durham.
Can I speak at a mic that's at my size?
Ma'am?
Can I speak at a mic that's at my height? Okay.
Oh, yes. Dr. Harris will make it any height we need.
I've worn my heels. Okay.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Angela Durham, and I am the school librarian or media specialist at Oak Point Elementary School. First, I want to congratulate Dr. Melton for her award as the South Carolina Superintendent of the Year Award. I, being myself a former School Librarian of the Year for South Carolina, I understand what the prestige and honor of that is. You were chosen, I've always said, you were chosen as our leader for this season for many reasons. As I work as a librarian and as a related arts teacher, I am living the CART life, traveling from 5 to 6 classrooms a day, serving on an average 75 to 100 students per day. I contemplated on being a 5 teacher due to underlying medical reasons, but the reassurance of wearing masks gave me the confidence to provide my students with the library services that would improve not only literacy, but give them a sense of school joy. Just like the employees at Walmart, the DMV, and Fort Jackson, there's a mask policy, and people don't get to choose whether they decide as an employee, their employer tells them what the mask policy is. Now, my contract is with you. It's not with those people holding the signs. So therefore, I expect my employer to be able to provide me with a safe working environment so that I can continue bringing great literacy, great literature, and joy to the school. Please understand, I'm not complaining, I'm just explaining. I think we need to make sure that we keep masks because teachers like myself who go into all these multiple classrooms need to know that at the end of the day, we're not going to come home with strep throat and colds and flus. I myself have had two strands of flu at the same time. I'm really asking you, and I'm begging you and pleading you for the sake of the employees. Think about us. Your contract is with us. Thank you.
Thank you. Lori Carnes. Do I see a Lori? Yeah. Thank you.
Good evening. It's getting late.
med.stanford.edu, My Mask, facial scanning app with digital manufacture of custom masks. And I quote, loose-fitting protection, such as surgical masks and bandanas, lack proper fit. As such, the CDC and NIOSH do not consider or approve them as respiratory protection. Fauci, don't wear a mask. Wear a mask. Wear 2 masks. You guys, look at the masks our kids are wearing. They're wearing bandanas. They're wearing sheets that cover their mouth. Do you really think that that's going to protect them? Protect them from what? Aerosol that sprays into their mouth again? Let's get real. The last time I checked, the CDC and DHEC were not granted lawmaking abilities. Our legislatures have that power, and as far as I'm concerned, and I'm aware, they have not created any laws that make the citizens of South Carolina have to wear a mask. Dr. Melton's job is to oversee education, and she has done a great job doing that. But that's her job, education. It's not her job to make health decisions on behalf of the students. Now, I'm going to get personal. My son suffers from allergies, okay? And he has been sick for the last 2 months. The pollen is getting into this mask, and he is breathing it in daily. That is not okay. It is not okay to watch him sick. It's not okay to watch him suffer. And yes, I do blame the masks. And I also believe these masks are contributing to his allergies, and so does his doctor. So, if someone wants to wear a mask, let them wear a mask. Nothing is stopping them, but to force our kids is un-American. You have all been put in your position to speak on behalf of the parents. This should not be about quieting an issue because the district doesn't want negative attention, or even worse, being canceled. Teachers have the vaccines to prevent severe disease. The threats and bullying by pro-maskers are unacceptable. You know, I was looking up at the screen, it said choice, where every choice is a great choice. Please stand by your original choice and choose freedom over fear. Thank you.
Thank you. Aaron Gregory. Aaron Gregory, he's not, he left. And then Cortland Thomas. Okay. Thank you. Mr. Thomas. Thank you for waiting.
Absolutely. I've been sitting in my car waiting. I want to say good evening to you, Dr. Melton, Board Chair Hammond, and to all of you, our guest members and friends of District 5. I come to you as a Dutch Fork High School graduate, the class of 2011, proud student body president, SIC member, and a superintendent's council member under Dr. Stephen Hefner. I share this message to you as a resident of District 5 in hopes to someone, I want to raise my children in this district as well. I also come to you as a survivor of COVID-19, which I would not wish upon my worst enemy. More importantly tonight, more than ever, I come to you unapologetically as a black man, courageous and ready to have a discourse about justice. As I continue with my remarks tonight focused on the mask policy, I must address how distasteful it was of the board chair to condescendingly hit the gavel during Mr. Jones' remarks, the only other African-American male who presented remarks tonight. Where was the gavel for speakers who were screaming back at the board chair, who made outbursts, named teachers, and named board members? Where was that? It's ironic Mr. Jones was speaking directly about racial justice and not necessarily about the mask policy. However, as I sit and stream the meeting tonight, the crux of the mask argument, they've used sound bites, they've been loud and proud, they've said things like people aren't being treated equally, fundamental rights, liberty, oppression. Masks are oppression? Since when? If you think masks are oppression, you have got to check your privilege. Just because they are loud does not make them right. They are not mutually exclusive. We have our own opinions. Some might be far-fetched and might be a flat-out lie. But let's look at the facts. It could be true that COVID-19 has a mortality rate of 98, 99%. However, we're using those facts to spin the actual truth. A 1% mortality rate that means it's 10 times more deadly than the seasonal flu. I don't think people can really wrap their minds around that. A 99% survival rate, it takes on a different meaning when you look at actual numbers of people living in the United States. That means if you say 1% of people survive COVID-19, somewhere between 700,000 and 1 million people are going to die in this world because they contracted COVID-19. Are you okay with those blood on your hands? Yes, we have our own opinions, but those are the facts. CDC guidance from April the 19th, 2021 clearly states that when you wear a mask, you protect others as well as yourself. Masks work best when you wear one. People aged 2 and older should wear masks when around people who do not live in their household. Will you allow your self-centered privilege to decide policy for our district? Will you allow one student to die under your leadership? If you're crying because you have to wear a mask, check your privilege. If you're accustomed to privilege, equality feels like oppression.
Thank you. I would entertain with the board, since that was so long, if that we could have a quick restroom break if anybody would like that. And that's okay, unless somebody wants to keep on. I think we kind of could use that. And we will be back, like 5 minutes, okay? Ms. Strange, will you keep me on task for 5 minutes? We'll be back.